You're listening to The Manning Report with your host, James David Manning. The news behind the headlines.
George Conway, who is the estranged husband of Kellyanne Conway, and I told you, George Conway has been now making some tweets about Trump for quite some time. I remember I told you that Kellyanne, leave that up, Mr. Engineer, right there. I told you Kellyanne Conway is as ugly as a barbed wire fence. I swear that is one ugly woman. Ugly. Ugmo. There's a woman I know that looks just like Kellyanne Conway. I call her Ugmo. She lives in Harlem. I won't tell you where. I call her Ugmo. She's ugly and her husband's ugly. And I call them Ugmo 1 and Ugmo 2. Anyway, but Kellyanne Conway is as ugly as ever see a barbed wire fence? Look at her. Don't you look at her? If you touch her, you'll draw blood if you touch her nose. Anyway, so here, George Conway writes, I don't have a video on this, but I'll read it if you don't mind. I don't read too well, so everybody understands that. Nobody's going to hold me guilty of being a poor reader. All right, here goes. George Conway, Trump is guilty of being unfit for office. But whether the Mueller report ever sees the light of day, there is one charge that can be resolved now. Americans should expect far more from a president than merely that he is not provably a criminal. They should expect a president to comport himself in accordance with the high duties of his office. As all presidents must, Trump swore an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and to faithfully execute his office and the laws in accordance with the Constitution. That oath requires putting the national interest above his personal interest, George writes, George Conway. He continues, yet virtually from the moment he took office in his response to the Russia investigation, Trump has done precisely the opposite, relentlessly attacking an Attorney General, Mueller, the Justice Department, including suggesting that his own Deputy Attorney General should go to jail. Lied to the point that his own lawyers wouldn't dare let him speak to Mueller lest he commit a crime. Been more concerned about touting his supposedly historic election victory than confronting an attack on our democracy by a hostile foreign power. If the charge were unfitness for office, the verdict would already be in. Guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And hallelujah, and boom shakalaka goes right there. George, I got to give it to you, George. You nailed old Trump on this one. He is guilty. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.